En este pueblo llamado Chicano existen lesbianas lindas y valientes, existen lesbianas que saben luchar. Su valor y color son de bronce, son las lesbianas bonitas, lindas y valientes, son las lesbianas.
The UNIDAD gay and lesbian documentary was really eye-opening to the perspective of a demographic that we don't usually hear from in our media. And I thought that was really cool. I loved that it was about finding your community and making a space for yourself. Everyone who spoke just talked about the importance of finding their people, and the fact that how that intersectionality is so important to recognize, because they felt like outsiders in the LGBTQ communities in Los Angeles, and they had to make this space for themselves for the UNIDAD Latinos, who were part of the LGBTQ community, and creating glue and all of that, and how much that impacted them and helped them grow in the community and their own skills, and finding all these new friends and outlets for creativity, for skills. All of that came from finding their own space and finding their own community. And so I thought that was really cool to see. Yeah, so I liked that theme of the found family and the importance of recognizing intersectionality. I liked the end message of this film. They're talking about how they all eventually left this program, this GLU, but GLU never left them, and they never truly left, their community. So yeah, and as far as the film itself goes, I really enjoyed it. I thought that everyone who spoke had a lot of really interesting perspectives and things to say, and they had a great use of archival photographs, so you were really immersed in this community and these lives. I thought that was really well done. So yeah, I really enjoyed this film.
UNIDAD. Such brilliant guiding through the history of glue in their growth and their learning together, in their creation of the community. We really got to be invited into the history and invited into the community through this piece of what is truly a foundation for what queer Latinos can think today for their visibility and their outreach. I love the openness with which all the members shared the creation of the group, their pioneering, their advocacy, their support, their visibility, but also they're having a great time and hearing with humor and joy each individual's perspective and their part in the journey. Just a really comprehensive look at the impact of the organization in a heartfelt and fun way, crafted with great found footage and images to bring the viewer back in time, but also to bring to the future. And having them meet again in one space, I thought was really moving, and just a really brilliantly crafted film.
This was a fantastic documentary, just a really great telling of these people's stories individually, and then having them get all together at the end was a really nice touch. It really flowed well for hearing from so many different people. There was a definite theme and just a sort of parallel, the way it was all edited together. It almost felt like the formula of a larger, like a film, if you will. They all sort of break down near the end of the second act there, and then kind of ends on a more positive beat. It really had a really great shape for a film documentary, and it was obviously really interesting to hear all their different stories and their struggles, and just be treated to all this great imagery from the past, the Studio One and all that other great stuff, the punk concerts. So that was all really cool and well put together and just made for a really strong picture. So great job.
UNIDAD was such a beautiful documentary. It was so well shot. The editing was great. Seeing all the past, concerts and photos and history was so great. But more than anything, it was a really inclusive look into what should be a very inclusive community, the LGBTQ community. But UNIDAD really shines a light on how we can make that community more inclusive and diverse. And seeing the group work so hard to create their own Latina-led LGBTQ community was so inspiring, and it really opened my eyes into a lot of things I didn't know before. It was a joy to watch and beautifully shot.
This documentary was so special. I loved the music. I loved the tone of it. It was very upbeat. It was very positive. And it was just so wonderful to be able to see the original, founding members of this group that made such a difference to the LA queer community. And it's just so radical, and it's so cool that they kind of created a space for themselves where there previously wasn't one. And yeah, I liked when the one woman had said, every group that I joined, every room that I walked into, they wanted me to leave a piece of me at the door. But I am multifaceted. I'm intersectional. And so being able to have these two groups come together, the gay men, the lesbian women coming together and making a change, the block party that they did in the community where there was issues with gangs, that's so cool. They marched in all the prides and all of the protests and everything, just really, really cool stuff, really inspiring to hear and see. And then of course, getting to see all of the photos and everything, but the ending where they kind of had this big reunion and got to see each other after who knows how long was just so, so special. And it's sad that all of them were not there to be present, but a really incredible film. I enjoyed every second of it. And it hits home in so many different ways. So great job. Thank you.
I just finished watching UNIDAD. What a great film. It was very eye-opening for me. There were so many things that I didn't even consider, and I didn't understand. Being white, I didn't understand it. I had no idea that most of the, LGBT communities, the groups were run or started by white people. I didn't even realize that, and what it would mean for somebody who is Latino and wanting their own kind of Latino group that was started by Latinos. I can completely understand that, and I loved the story of how they started GLLU and learning about GLLU and what it was and how it became what it is. This was really inspirational, and I thought that the filmmakers did a sensational job with the interviews and the cinematography and bringing in a lot of old photographs, old clippings of newspapers and things like that. So I thought that this was really, really great.
UNIDAD told such an interesting story from a perspective that I've never heard before, so I really appreciated it. I also just liked the simplicity of it. I think kind of having these very close-up interviews with each person made it so much more personal, and I was able to just feel the community that they had been able to build. And of course, in the end, when we saw them all kind of reuniting, that was really special to be able to witness. So yeah, I think the power of this film is in its simplicity, and I really appreciated that.